My name is Tony Robles, and I'm here to talk about my son Marshall. And we're going to start with the year 2003, and that was a pretty tough year in the Robles family, and my passing of my mother on around Mother's Day in 2003, and some family members that were really close. Later on that year, sometime around Veterans Day, my son started experiencing stomach pains, and then he'd have like a sciatic condition go run down his leg, and my wife takes him in to the doctor, and they do an x-ray, and then it was inconclusive, and then they went in and they did not an ultrasound, I think an ultrasound, and that was inconclusive, and then they did like an ET scan, and it came out. And fortunately, the doctor was connected to the pediatric surgeon in City of Hope in Duarte, and he came up and they did a biopsy, and they found out that he had a tumor in the middle of his abdomen with a partial tumor going into his lower spine, L2, I think it was, just about ready to go up to make the pathway up to his brain. So in a matter of weeks, by the time early December came along, he was all set up with the catheter and everything like that, and started, not the catheter, but the feeding tube for the chemo, and he started chemo in early December of 2003. And he went 3 days heavy chemo, and then 3 weeks later he would go 5 days of mild chemo. And during that time, he had, us being part of Acton Faith Bible Church, we had a very large youth ministry and a lot of homeschool people, and the parents would bring down their kids and visit him, and so he wouldn't have to be by himself, because the tragic thing about childhood cancers is that a lot of times the parents and family members aren't there, so a lot of these poor kids are just sitting in their rooms by themselves. And just the blessing of having the youth come over, not only to visit my son, but to start interacting with the other kids in the hospitals who were there by themselves, kids their age, from 5 years up to teenage years and stuff like that. And so this went on for up until around his 14th birthday in March, and he had surgery, and they ended up making a scar basically from his belly button to his back, 3 inches from his spine, and they literally brought all his major organs out, and they did surgery to remove the tumor, and also do orthopedic surgery on his spine. He ended up having 3 vertebrae fused into one. They put a titanium cage in the inside of one of the vertebrae, the strength, so when it did heal, it wouldn't affect the spinal cord. And literally he was in like a turtle shell for 6 months. And just to hear him, the pain that he went through with that was really, how do you say, it's very emotionally affects you. And he's there in the middle of emergency, screaming as loud as he can, and everybody else is just wondering what's going on, and he fought through that. And September of '09, they did a full scan on him, and he was clean, and he's now 25 years old, and he's still 100%. He goes in and does a full scan every year. He actually has a job. You would never know that he'd even had cancer. Where's your praise report?